you start and then we join.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
Είναι το τελευταίο φραγείο, για πες μας τι είναι το τελευταίο. Όχι, πες μας το τελευταίο. Είναι, μάλλον είναι ο φόβος της έκθεσης. Είναι μπροστά μπροστά και δεν βλέπει.
always the first rows empty. That's really not fair to the ones who are speaking. Why is the youngsters so far away? No, come closer. Fill the first and the second row. No, because it's really not nice when you speak and there is thank you.
Θα έρθει άλλη μια κυρία εδώ. Όχι, να μεταφέρουμε αυτό από πίσω, που να το ξεγελάσουμε, να το πάμε όλο πίσω. Και οι τελευταίοι έσονται πρώτοι. Για να πάρουμε.
Άσε με λίγο.
Δεν έχετε ξανά εξαιρετό. Είναι εξαιρετικό. 3 χρόνια πλέον. Δεν ξέρω. Όχι, δεν είναι. Άμα είχα ένα τέτοιο κτίριο στο Ψηρή, δεν θα ήμουν στην παράδοση. Θα ήμουν μόνο μες στην Αθήνα. Εσείς είσαστε 3 και θα ανεβήσετε πιο πολύ χώρο.
Come here, come here.
So, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, come. Please take a seat in front or on the side. I think people will be are already, there are already about 5 or 6 up there. Shall we wait for them?
32. I think you have 3 minutes more. 2 minutes more. Please, please, please. Can you
Please come downstairs. Jasna, I saw you.
We are starting in 2 minutes.
We are starting in 2 minutes, please. Come downstairs. Everybody downstairs. Vanno a fare un caffè. Okay, let's start. I think everybody has taken a seat.
Marina and Alexander coming.
Okay. Last but not least, I think we are ready to start. So, welcome. Welcome is the first word to the Athens Conference, Connecting Civil Society for Heritage, a milestone event in the pilot project European Heritage Hub, led by Europa Nostra. Your host is affiliated partner Elliniki Eteria, that you all know, whose role is to set up the Europa Nostra Heritage Hub in Athens to expand the network of heritage actors in the region of Southeastern Europe and the Caucasus. We have 11 countries whose representatives are here today, and I really thank you all for having made the effort to come, so that we get to understand live what really matters to you in the amazing things that you are doing in the heritage sector in your countries. We have set up this conference in a way that we really give the time to listen to all presenters carefully in an active way, both for you to have the time to really express what matters to you, and for us to have the time to understand and also connect the dots. There are so many things between all of you that connect. Either it is the challenges or the priorities or the projects that you are doing, and they connect not only in the particular examples, but in the vision behind them. And the vision behind them is very often related to one of the three goals of the triple transformation: the green, the social, or the digital. And we have added, as Elliniki Eteria, a fourth priority: youth and education. So we're going to start with welcome speeches, and I welcome Snežka Mihajlović to the floor to welcome you and explain the wider reason and raison d'être of this beautiful project. Thank you, Snežka. Come to the floor, you'll sit beside me. I think we are connected also online at this moment.
Yes, I think. Good morning, Stefan.
With Mr. Stefan Zotti, that will speak later.
Good morning, Snežka. Good morning, dear colleagues.
Good to see this bridge established between Athens and Brussels, and I hope you will, we look forward to hearing you after this introductory words by Lydia Karas and me. So, good morning, everyone. Kalimera. It's always a great joy for me to perform together with Elliniki Eteria. And here in Athens, this is a long-lasting partnership and friendship, more than 50 years of working together for cultural heritage in Europe. And it is a great joy for someone like me who comes from Southeast Europe to see today this partnership also going in this, adding yet another layer to this partnership. With the Elliniki Eteria accepting to become a Europa Nostra regional heritage hub for Southeast Europe and the Caucasus. And this very meeting, in fact, I remember the idea of organizing this meeting and inviting representatives of civil society organizations, our colleagues and friends from the entire region, was born last September when we were gathering here to celebrate the 50th anniversary, extraordinary anniversary, 50 years of achievements of Helleniki Italia here in Athens. And then the next day we had an intense day of discussing what to do with this Athens hub. And then also with Lydia, Costa, Amalia, Stavroula, and hosted, that lunch was hosted by Alexandra Prokopiou, our council member. And then I remember, Marina, you saying, but why don't we bring them all to Athens? And we said, yes, that's the place to be, and that's what we should do. And there we are together. And I think we have all the countries, almost all the countries from the region here represented. And then I want also to add, Amalia, you have mentioned this sort of the main pillars of the whole European Heritage Hub project. And I'm delighted that Europa Nostra, with a large consortium of 20 organizations, have been selected by the European Commission to run this pilot project for 2 years, ending next May. But we somehow hope and believe that it should not end next May, but that there will be a prolongation, because what we are doing here and the investment into the creation of a dynamic around this European Heritage Hub, it's not something you do in 2 years. It's something that requires time to build trust, to build lasting cooperation. So I very much hope that the European Parliament, European Commission will be supporting the idea that the European Heritage Hub is the good initiative, a very good initiative for the benefit of Europe as a whole and for the benefits of Europe's heritage, and that it should continue. But why is so important also that we are gathered here in Athens? Not just because indeed it is the city that hosts the headquarters of Helleniki Italia, and we will learn a lot during these days about the exemplary way that you as a civil society organization have been working 50 years, and hopefully inspire, get mutual inspiration from the presentations of our colleagues from various countries from the region, but also because of the symbolism of Athens being the cradle of democracy. I can't, I'm always coming back to it. The most endangered heritage in Europe today is democracy. And I'm sure that all of you who have come from the various countries in the region, you feel that, you lived that, you are experiences the situations, very difficult situations, threats to democracies. And in all your countries, we know what are the geopolitics today, but all your countries have gone in various stages through difficult times, different forms of conflicts. And many of these conflicts have not yet been resolved. So I know how much this is present in your hearts and minds, but also in our hearts and minds. And the reason more that we need to come together, and that we need to demonstrate also to the European Union institutions that cultural heritage matters for a lot of things, for green transformation, from social transformation, for digital transformation, but it matters for democracy. It matters for the defense of values on which Europe and the whole European project is based. And in fact, last year when we had our summit, 60th anniversary summit in Venice, on the initiative of the European Commission, we also organized a gathering of various European networks specifically on this topic,
of the importance of cultural heritage for democracy and for democracy and human rights, basically. So for me, it is something, and I think also for the European Commission, is a very important aspect of our work. And I look forward very much with our distinguished colleagues from various countries to discuss how we can join our forces and voices even stronger in order to convey to the European leaders at all levels of governments, from European to the local level, and that's why I really want to stress the importance of our collaboration with the city of Athens. Because this whole creation of our hub here in Athens is also based on the willingness of the city of Athens to support such an initiative. And we have a number of cities, as you know. We have the city of Krakow, we have the city of Lisbon, also supporting the European Heritage Hub. The role of local authorities. And tonight we will see the mayor, he will receive us, and I think also in all the countries represented here, involving the local authorities and the cities, not just capital cities, but smaller cities as well, is essential. Because we all know that at the level of, very often at the level of national government, we have much more difficulties, and even some national governments in Europe are skeptical about Europe. And the local level is much more proud to be European as well, and I think this is a very important aspect, and I would like that we, during these 2 days, we discuss that element as well. Last night, during the wonderful dinner, thank you so much for the welcome dinner that we had at the headquarters of Elleniki Etaria. I discussed with a number of participants about, what is that we want to achieve. We want, obviously, to, first of all, understand better, learn from you what are your concerns, what is happening in various countries, and we are aware that the situation is varying depending on the circumstances in various countries, but there are some similarities and some connections. And that's why we also want to promote these bridges and as much as possible to see how we can also have some bilateral, multilateral collaboration in various forms throughout the region. But also, it is very important for us. We are based in Brussels and The Hague, and we have here also our office is represented here by Manon and Antigone, supporting very much, working very much hand in hand with Amalia Stavroula, of course, with Lydia's important leadership role in this exercise. But it's important for us to get, that you feed us, that we get your input for the important role that we have as the spokesperson of the European heritage movement towards the European leaders. We need, I deeply believe, that Europe can do better, can and should do better in this region, in the entire enlargement agenda. Cultural heritage, culture education is not sufficiently given priority. And I'm always telling them when I'm speaking in Brussels in various conferences, you are investing billions in the region. At least 1 billion of all these billions should be invested in culture, cultural heritage, and this is the best investment for, once again, and for democracy and for better integration of all these regions within the European integration process. But for that, I think that as follow-up of this gathering, we ought to have a very, very forceful policy statement ready after the European elections for the new European Parliament, for the new European Commission, to say we can and we should do better together. So that's for me for the beginning of this conversation.
Thank you very much, Snežka. Thank you very much. So, as Snežka said, the goals are to listen to what the actors of heritage are doing in this region to not only inspire but also encourage connections, connect cross-border connections between you, but also with local authorities and with different levels of administration, and also to explore what we can do as the Athens Hub, the Europa Nostra Heritage Hub in Athens. We don't know yet how we can be as useful as we can. So these 2 days, one of our goals is to explore what we can really do to achieve those very ambitious and difficult goals that Snežka just told us. Lidia Karas, who's the founder of Elliniki Eteria and the heart of the Athens Hub, beating to the floor. Lidia Karas, please introduce yourself, but also the team which is behind the Athens Hub formation.
Yes. First of all, let me say that once more, Snežka was able to inspire all of us. You know? So whatever else we say, I mean, I could sign everything she said. And I think it's interesting because it's a long-term relationship we have, Elliniki Eteria has with Europa Nostra, and also a personal relationship with Snežka and some other people in Europa Nostra. And it shows how what has built this relationship is the commitment to heritage. I mean, this commitment is what we're called today to explore. On behalf of Elliniki Eteria and the board that works on this theme on the Athens Hub, let me welcome you very warmly. Let me also say a very warm thank you to the board. Some of the members are here today. It's Kostas Stamatopoulos, it's Eleni Maistru, it's Marina Martinou, Alexandra Prokopiou. I don't see any other of the members. I think Ioanna Mikrou. And let me also say a very big thank you for all the work that the project manager, Amalia Zeppo, has put into it, together with the assistance of Stavroula. So, yes, as a Greek, I can say that when the suggestion came to us from Europa Nostra and the European Union to create the Athens Hub, we discussed it and we felt that what a great idea and also a great responsibility, because yes, all the people who are here today, the Athens Hub, are our neighbors. And we have lived a long time together as neighbors with many difficulties. And I think the time has come, in the context of the European Union, to do a new chapter, a chapter of looking forward not to the past that has been problematic for many of our countries, from which we can learn. We don't deny the past, we must learn the past, but look forward to a new chapter, which is the chapter of what unites us. We have much of our heritage is common. Let's share it and let's build on that. We owe it to the new generations. And I would like also to say that it is important for us today to listen to each other as we've heard it. We want to learn from you. We want to exchange views and to come to conclusions to how we can proceed, but come to the conclusion together. We had a wonderful experience in the Lake of Prespa, which is that unites 3 countries of the Balkans. And young people came and spent a week there, precisely on the issue of how we can best collaborate for the sake of the Lake of Prespa. It was really amazing, their imagination, their suggestions, the ideas that came from them. We were all extremely impressed. So this is what we look forward today. Let me also say a very warm thank you to the municipality of Athens and the mayor of Athens, who are supporting this effort. And so we look forward to a very, very creative 2 days altogether. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Livia. So, in the era of online connections, before giving the floor to Mr. Stefan Zotti from the Secretariat of Education, Culture and Heritage of the Commission, I just wanted to stress something that Lydia said about this team. We want to let you know something very basic. We meet more than twice a month, the team of these extinguished people that Lydia Karas introduced, and really think of what matters. This team feels a huge responsibility towards the Commission and the European ideals to really deliver something that has meaning. And I just wanted to say this, that before Stefan Zotti takes the floor, that we really care about this, what is happening. It is not just a deliverable, it is something that we want to have a real impact in real people's lives. So, Mr. Zotti, I give the floor to you, and thank you very much for being with us today, even remotely.
Thanks a lot for having me. Thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to address you online only. And I already had a bit of a bad conscience when at the very beginning Snezhka asked everybody to come closer and me addressing you from Brussels. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you take it, I cannot be with you because so many things related exactly to European cultural heritage are actually ongoing here in Brussels. And the next 2 days, we will have our next meeting of the Cultural Heritage Expert Group with some 90 members from member states, stakeholders, etc., discussing current challenges of cultural heritage in Europe. And we will, for example, deal intensively with the whole issue of how cultural heritage can contribute to regional, to local growth and development. Many other things currently ongoing, which shows that cultural heritage definitely has its place and its importance in European policy making, as Snezhka said before, also with regards to enlargement. And currently we're working, just to give you an example, quite closely with our colleagues and friends, if I may say so, from Ukraine, to see how we can preserve, restore cultural heritage there, which also might give you an idea about the political importance and significance of cultural heritage we are facing right now. And this holds true in the tragic event of a war, as in the more optimistic developments in the Western Balkans, etc., when it comes to thinking about next steps, getting the Western Balkans even closer to the European Union, where, and here's Snezhka, I couldn't agree more with you, cultural heritage should and will play an important role. I'm very grateful to Niki Teria and Europe Nostra for organizing this conference to see how the European Heritage Hub can also increase its importance and its role in this very region, because I think this is one of the key challenges we're facing all together, EU institutions as well as key stakeholders, as well as the various and different heritage organizations all over Europe. How are we going to implement our policies? I remember quite recently we had a very good discussion, I feel, with Snezhka and her team about the challenges and about the possible contributions of the Heritage Hub. And my position, and I hope Snezhka still agrees with it, was that actually what we are not short of is policy papers, is ideas, is new initiatives, what could be done, what should be done on the European level. What we are less effective in until now is getting the things on the ground. And here we strongly rely on this approach of the European Heritage Hub, in particular on the potential work of the regional hubs to really help us in EU policy making in the field of heritage policy with the stakeholders on the national, regional and local level, with actually the heritage actors, because this definitely is key for good policy making. So we wish you a very fruitful discussion. Always please bear in mind also the political significance, as Snezhka was talking about. How can we, in a certain way, also use cultural heritage, cooperation in cultural heritage to grow together? European cultural heritage plays a key role in a certain way in the overall understanding of the European Union, even in the treaty, the preservation, the safeguarding of our common European cultural heritage is enshrined and one of the key elements of cooperation on the European level. So I very much hope and I wish you fruitful discussions and interesting exchange of over the next 2 days. And please come up with very concrete ideas, and I'm sure we will, via Snezhka, via Europa Nostra, definitely hear more from you, learn from you, see how also we as European Commission can contribute even better to your work, see what is actually needed to create new ecosystems of cultural heritage on the ground in the various and sometimes very different regional and local circumstances. I'm very happy that we will, in any case, also hear a little bit of your discussions in 2 days' time in the cultural heritage expert group I was referring to at the beginning. So yes, all the best for this conference, and we are really looking forward to learn about the outcomes and to stay in contact with all of you. Thanks a lot, and best greetings from Brussels.
Thank you very much for Mr. Zotti. We have to say that it is very important to have the Commission address directly to the civil society organizations that are present today. So really thank you, because we get the feeling of your presence behind us, and it's always important to have the face of the Commission and connect it.
We'll have a live connection to the expert.
Exactly, we have a different one tomorrow too. So thank you very much for your words, and we'll continue now trying to understand how do we transform this cultural heritage, which is a very strong lever to changing mindsets, to create true relationships and bonds cross-border, throughout cross-border collaborations. But how do we build the architecture of our hubs so that this very strong soul keeper, which is our heritage, how can that be transformed into a dynamic tool to achieve the very ambitious goals that we have set up for ourselves? So now we're going to move on to the next session. If I change rightly, no. Yes, tools and opportunities. How are we going to do that? We're going to invite to the floor Manon Richard, who's the project manager of the European Heritage Hub of Europa Nostra. Manon. Manon Richard there she is, she's coming, who's going to explain how we are piloting and exploring the building of this hub, at the European level. Hello, Manon. Thank you for coming. So
Thank
nice to
you.
see you in Athens.
Good morning, everybody. It's really nice to be here in Athens, to see some of you in person, some for the very first time. So first of all, I want to say a big thank you to Elliniki Eteria and the Europa Nostra Heritage Hub in Athens for making this gathering possible. I have a presentation. I don't know.
You can have that. You press this one to change.
Perfect. Thank you. So today I will present to you the project of the European Heritage Hub, which is also making our gathering today possible. No, only there, yeah. Okay, so first of all, a little bit of,
Sit here because I think the slide, no?
Why don't you sit?
better here?
Yeah.
But can you still hear me? Now, can you hear? Thank you. So a little bit of, what is the rationale and the background of the project. So the European Heritage Hub is an EU-funded pilot project that aims at connecting all heritage stakeholders and initiatives across Europe to support the transition for a more sustainable, digital, and inclusive society. It's also a follow-up of the European Year of Cultural Heritage in 2018 that aims to sustain its legacy on the longer term. The project launched in May last year, so it's almost been 1 year, and it will run for 2 years, so still another year. And the hub aims at covering not only, of course, the European Union, but the whole of Europe. And we have special focus on some EU neighboring countries, so Ukraine, Moldova, Caucasus, and Western Balkans. So Europa Nostra is the lead of the project, but we are doing this with many more partners, around 20 partners from across Europe. So we have 4 main partners that are the co-beneficiaries. These are Europeana, really focusing more on the digital dimension. We have Eurocities and Iclave, focusing on the local level. And KU Leuven University, that is more doing research policy. Then we have some affiliated partners. These are, for example, Elliniki Eteria, Hispania Nostra, Centro Nacional de Cultura, some of our members who have more geographical or thematic focus and who are also operating our regional hubs. Then we have the associated partners who are also supporting the creation of the regional hubs. So this is, for example, the city of Athens, we have the city of Krakow, and some others also in Portugal and in Italy. And we have supporting partners like ISAC and the European Union Youth Orchestra, who are supporting our impact and outreach, especially to the young generation. So I was talking about the regional hubs. So we have already created 2, Athens and Krakow. Athens, operated by Elliniki Eteria with the support of the Athens municipality. Krakow, operated by the Society of Friends for Krakow History and Heritage, also with the support of the municipality of Krakow. And we are also in the process of creating 2 additional hubs, one based in Nicosia and one based in Lisbon. Now, how do we aim to become a permanent knowledge, networking, and advocacy platform for cultural heritage? So we will do this through different type of actions. We will foster cooperation between heritage actors and initiatives. We will advocate all together for holistic policies and more structured coordination between all levels of governance, from the local to the European. And we will also connect the heritage world with citizens and local communities. So, the triple transformation, we've been mentioning it several times since this morning. So this is really at the heart of the project. All of our activities and actions are guided by this triple transformation. So the green, the social, and the digital transformation. We will also have, the chance to discuss it in the workshop this afternoon. So I don't want to say too much about it, because we also want to hear from you what you think is, for you, the triple transformation and how you can contribute and embrace it for the better. Now that you have a bit more, background of the project, what do we do and how can you get involved and benefit from what we are doing? This is the slide. So first of all, we have created 2 communities. A community of practice, which is for all heritage stakeholders that are already working or participating in cultural heritage. The community of practice meets once a year on the occasion of the Hub Forum. And we have a community of interest. This is more for people who are not necessarily working in the heritage sector, but have an interest and want to get involved. And the community of interest will meet on the occasion of several online meetups. So the first one is now scheduled for 28th May. So stay tuned to know more and to join us on 28th May. But also, if you're part of one of these communities, you can join many more other events. You can participate with us in joint campaigns, initiatives, and you can access a specific group on the social forum. I will explain a little bit later what this is. Now, the first Hub Forum, so of the community of practice, took place last year in Venice on the occasion of the European Cultural Heritage Summit. It was on 28th September, focusing on more the green dimension of the triple transformation. See, there were more than 32 speakers, a lot of participants on site, but also online. And a very successful outcome was the launch of a global call to action to put culture and heritage at the heart of the COP28 and of climate action. And these joint campaigning efforts led to tangible and very successful results. So Europa Nostra was present at COP28 in Dubai, where the group of friends of culture-based climate action was launched during a ministerial meeting that was chaired by the UAE and Brazil. There were more than 30 ministers present, and they all committed to support culture-based climate action. And of course, the aim is not to stop there. We want to build on this momentum, also to make culture-based climate action more present in the upcoming COP29 in Baku in Azerbaijan and COP30 in Belém in Brazil. So now we will focus on the more digital tools of the European Heritage Hub, which are all to be found on the website of the European Heritage Hub. So we have recently launched a Heritage Library. So this is a digital repository of all kinds of material related to heritage. It's not only about, research papers, not only about policies, but really everything. It's also about audiovisual content, podcasts, videos, really anything. It's been actually each partner of the European Heritage Hub has been doing research, has been uploading these material on the website. So it's really something that comes from the heritage sector for the heritage sector. It's also been, it's guided by the triple transformation. It includes a filter and research tool, so you can really search precisely for what you want. And you can also, this is a really interesting feature, you can submit your own content. There's a specific button. So if you think there's anything that can be interesting, of relevance for the wider European heritage sector, you can easily submit it and it will be featured for the whole heritage movement to look at. We have also launched at the same time a policy monitor. So this is also some sort of a library of all policies and legislations related to heritage from all governance levels, also from local to European, and it's divided by countries and levels of governance on the website. So there's also a filter and search bar. You can easily search for specific content that you are looking for. But the aim is not only to list all policies that are existing. The aim is also to analyze them. What are the gaps? What are the good examples? What can inspire the European institutions? What is good at local level? So the aim is to feed in research papers and also policy recommendations that will be published at the end of the project. But we are also publishing quarterly reports on the website with some preliminary analysis of what we've been observing through the monitor. The first one will be published, I believe, this month. And linked to that, we're also developing a programs lab. So this is really to analyze how policies are impacting what's happening on the local level through funding programs. So the social forum I was mentioning, this is also coming up on our website. I was told it would be launched this week, so let's stay tuned. So this is some sort of like the Facebook or LinkedIn for heritage actors. So you can create a profile, you can connect with other people, you can send direct messages to other people, you can join some groups. There will be a closed groups for the community of practice, and you can share any update you think would be relevant to your fellow colleagues. Through the hub, you can also gain access to training opportunities. We organize a variety of events, whether on-site or online. So for example, together with Eurocities, one of the main partners, we have launched a call for local good practices with the aim to really to identify those practices at local level that, well, heritage practices, but also that contribute to the triple transformation of our society. So 10 best practices have been selected among the 40 that we have received. They were announced very recently, 2 weeks ago, I believe. And out of the 10 best practices that have been selected, we will organize 2 peer learning visits and an additional one in the Caucasus that will be organized next year. And also we will do some thematic webinars to also showcase those that have not been selected for peer learning visits. So now we're getting to an activity, transversal activity of the hub, which is to actually to amplify our work and impact in some EU neighboring countries. So you can see here the list of the 11 countries. And the goal is really to help building the capacity of civil society to enhance the role of cultural heritage for the triple transformation, but also to support heritage activities that contribute to peace building, stability, reconciliation, and the promotion of European values. So how we're doing this, that means that we mainstream heritage issues and stakeholders in all of the activities of the hub, but we are also organizing some extra activities in these countries. So these are, for example, the extra activities. So the civil society meeting in Athens, it's actually today. There will be an online meetup on the digital transformation later in the year, a hub forum in the Western Balkans next year, peer learning visit in the Caucasus also next year, and towards the end of the project, the publication of research papers, each specific to one region, and additional policy recommendations to EU stakeholders. So now a very important feature also of our work in EU neighboring countries is the small grant scheme. I believe that most of you have seen, heard about it, probably applied for it. So we have launched this in January with the support of the ALIF Foundation, with the aim really to encourage and empower civil society in these countries to also become actors of the wider European heritage movement. It's really simple, flexible funding instrument with 3 grant sizes that range from 2,000 up to 50,000 euros. So I must say we were a bit, we were surprised, very positively surprised to have received more than 600 applications from all over the 11 countries. Also a lot of cross-border projects. So you can see here a bit the breakdown per country and per size of the requested grant. Of course, the larger grants were the most demanded, then medium, then small. The country that applied the most was Ukraine, with around 37%. Then cross-border projects around 17%. Then I think comes Georgia, Armenia, Bosnia, Albania, and then also other countries very prominent. So we are now busy checking every project. Then the selection committee will meet mid-May, and we hope to announce around maximum end of May the selected projects. So also to get involved with the hub, you can join our events, and you can check our website. It's europeanheritagehub.eu, very simple. We're also present on all social media platforms, Twitter, X, former Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We have a newsletter sent every 2 months. So I would say everything is linked. If you want to submit something to the Heritage Library, a very interesting document, heritage-related document, then you get the chance maybe to be featured in the newsletter. Our aim is not only to feature content from the hub, from the partner of the hub, but really to feature content from the entire heritage community. So this is how you can get involved as well, really feed us with documents, with policies, with events, and yeah, let's share everything together. So this is it from my side. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much, Manon.
And thanks.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. We won't have the, you want questions? I want to,
Not a question. I just want to add something about the small grant scheme, because you have seen the figures. You have seen the figures, 600 applications. As you can imagine, with the amounts of money that we have, it is probably we can't have more than 10 that we can support with the money that we have. But you know us, we have the ambition to reach out to more partners. And it is very important for us that we can show the demand, that there is a huge demand. And hopefully that is, so we will be with the amount of money, and it's about 250,000 that we have, what we can do, but we will have many more candidates. Sorry, yeah. So there is many more projects that we will receive, and we can also use that as part also of our advocacy towards the European Union, why we believe more resources should be invested in cultural heritage type of projects, and also using it for that for foundations. You have seen that Alif Foundation has come in with 100,000 euro support, and specifically they are interested in the small grant scheme. That means that we could reach out, for perhaps Alif itself would say, oh, there is such a demand, we can give more, or we can have other foundations throughout Europe that we would be supporting. So it means that we have sort of found a gap, that there is a need. We have found and we have now created a structure that hopefully is going to grow. So I just felt that I have to say that in order not that you feel all, oh gosh, this is going to be, not everyone can receive from that first ground, but that we will all, and also use that for some kind of mapping of the needs, all those projects that we receive, and in order that we can, all what we want to achieve with this hub, also the Athens Hub activities and this gathering here. So I felt that it was important to add that.
it is, and thank you very much, because it is really impressive to hear that there were more than 600 applications for the small grant scheme. But I wanted to congratulate Manon and Europa Nostra for having achieved so much in 10 months. I mean, people have to understand that this hadn't even started 10 months ago when it was launched. It is an impressive presentation, Manon, because it shows the effort, of course, and the work that has been done, but also the clarity by which you have tried to create support at all types of different levels. The connection to different levels of administration, connecting between them, giving tools and opportunities. And for that reason, I want to invite the people that are here today to give feedback to what you heard. Get into the hub and see those tools, and let us know while we're here. How do you find this policy monitor? How do you find this database? What do these calls mean for you? It is very important, because you see how difficult and complex it is to build the architecture of what a hub is. And that is a question with which we, in Athens, being affiliated partners and having to cover the region of Southeastern Europe and the Caucasus, asked ourselves, what is it that we can create? How will we build the architecture of this Athens hub to really feed in the effort that you saw, and the complexity also that it is? So I will invite to the floor Stavroula Travalou to come and present the types of questions that we asked ourselves and the way we thought of doing this. Another thing that is important, inviting the people that are present here from civil society organizations, is that you, in each country from where you come, are the kind of natural ambassadors of this effort we're making. So when you go back home, and we've asked some of you that we name facilitators to help us expand these messages and these efforts to people that you know in your own countries, people, like-minded people, people maybe that don't know that this exists and these tools exist. This is why we're doing this. I'm just reminding everybody why we're here and how we're building this. And also give us feedback. You know, maybe there is a tool you want more than another one, or something else that we haven't thought of. So that's what we are doing here today. So Stavroula is going to describe how we have set up the Europa Nostra Heritage Hub in Athens. Or Athens, Europa Nostra Athens Hub, maybe a simpler name for it.
Okay. So hello from my side as well. As mentioned, the Europa Nostra Heritage Hub is a regional hub. It was founded back in 2022 as a collaboration of Europa Nostra and Elliniki Eteria, as well as the municipality of Athens. So, yes, we are building our website, and here you can see the mock-up of the landing page. It's not very easy to distinguish, but on the background, it is featured the region that we are covering. And in particular, we are, apart from Greece, we are expanding the network of Europa Nostra and bringing together heritage actors from 10 countries. These are the neighboring Balkan countries, Albania, North Macedonia, Bulgaria, Kosovo, Serbia, Montenegro, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And we are also covering Turkey, Georgia, and Armenia. The methodology we have adopted to communicate the goals of European Hub and expand its network involves, as said earlier, local facilitators, most of them being present today, actually. So in order to map the needs and challenges of local heritage actors and organizations in each country, we have released an online survey, and we're planning to organize on-site and online meetings. Our focus is primarily on organizations whose work align with the priorities of European Union and the transition towards a more sustainable and inclusive society. Emphasis is also given from the Athens Hub to empowering young heritage actors and strengthening cross-border collaborations. Passing on to what we have done so far, there are we have followed two courses of actions: connecting events and on-site visits. In fact, the first co-creation camp that took place in Prespes in 2022, as mentioned already from Lydia Kara, was a very successful one. It resulted in the formation of a very active group of young people who will have the opportunity to present their work later today. And finally, we have visited a couple of countries, and we're planning to visit much more, to expand our visits so as to learn and meet all heritage actors in person, as we value as much the interpersonal this connection. So that would be all from me, just to have a general overview of what we have done so far.
Thank you very much, Stavroula. So as you heard, the Athens Hub we thought of setting up the Athens Hub in a different way that the Krakow Hub has set up itself. Just so that, as you heard from Manon earlier, there are 4 regional hubs. The Krakow Hub that covers the Central European region, and unfortunately was not able to come here today, they have decided to map the civil society organizations of their 10 countries in a very extensive and extraordinary, actually, effort to really get to know through registration offices, all the possible NGOs that exist in that area. Unlike them, we decided to start with the already existing network of Europa Nostra with these countries, with particular people and organizations in each of them, and try to build up on this sort of personal knowledge of them, the physical, like what we're doing today, those connecting events where people actually meet each other, because it is the beginning of building trust. I mean, meeting together and doing things together is the beginning of trust in relationships. This is just the basic psychological principle of bonding. So we thought, why don't we start like this? And we'll see where this gets us to. Maybe through the connection of your knowledge of your countries and the NGOs in your countries that you will bring to us, maybe this is the way we will expand and widen the network that we're trying to. So just so that you know that there are different ways of understanding how to expand that network. And we have chosen this one, the personal, step-by-step expansion of the network by getting to know the people and the faces and putting them together. And for that reason, we're going to move upstairs to start hearing the presentations of each of you, with a little coffee break in the middle as a bonus, where we will ask you to sit in a different way that we will explain in 15 minutes from now. So thank you for the morning session, and see you upstairs.